It's Bay FM 100.3, the heart and soul of the Bay, and we've got Madonna guy in here talking about all things stressful.
Yes, and yeah.
Well, you know, Def Leppard was, which is what we just listened to. That,
Yes.
Like I told you just before we went to the break there, that's my, you know, Def Leppard, all that kind of rock gets
Yeah.
my stress down. But
Nice.
let's get into it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about stress.
So one of the things we need to do is get our cortisol under control. Because when we are firing all the time with stress, it means we are constantly changing our body's biochemistry. So cortisol is considered one of those things that's like a fight and flight response. So when your body is constantly in fight and flight, you're not going to be sleeping well. You're not going to have great energy. Or if you do, it's going to be the wrong sort of energy that's, you know, more like hyperactive
Yeah, because
sort of
the
energy.
cortisol in your blood is saying, oh, I'm getting prepared, I'm getting ready
Yes.
to take off, even though you're not.
Yes.
Yeah.
And cortisol is the only hormone known to go up as we get older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
So
one.
sleep is one of the big things, and some people will be absolutely in that place where they go, well, I've never slept well, I'm a night owl, and that's it. But I think it doesn't matter to me. It does not matter if you sleep from 3 a.m. until 11 a.m. or whether you sleep from 9 p.m. until 6 a.m. You're best if you sleep through the night, but obviously there's people in the world who can't do that because of work or life or whatever. My mum's been a night owl since she was 3 years old.
Wow,
So she was
yeah.
taken to a sleep clinic at 3 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she was the second kid. I think by the time Blanchie had like 11 kids, she'd given up on any things like that. But
Sleep when you need to.
yeah,
Sleep when you want.
yeah, you'll sort yourself out. Yeah, so I know that some people, but nonetheless, Mum will actually sleep for a whole day occasionally, you know, because she knows that sometimes she just doesn't sleep, you know, and she's sort of happy with that.
But sometimes you can't literally, like, even though you're feeling fine, you can't switch your mind off.
Yes.
Like, even though you're feeling tired,
Yes.
you can't because you've got all that cortisone running around in there. So you're wanting to go to sleep, but you can't.
Yeah, there's a really good questionnaire that people can find online called a DAS, which is Depression, Anxiety, Stress Score. So it's something that you can pull up, print it out, and do the questionnaire, and it sort of tells you whether or not you're more in the depression line, the anxiety, the stress line, which to me is fairly important as a pracky because, well, it's not the be-all and end-all, and we don't prescribe from that, but it just gives us information. So people will come in and say, I'm really depressed, but their depression scores will be really low and they're anxious. People just...
They assume that it comes with stress, that I must have anxiety because
Yes.
I can't handle it, or because I'm crying because of the stress, I've got depression. But
Yes.
it's not necessarily
No,
the case.
and sometimes it's that the adrenals are so exhausted. Like teachers,
Yeah.
poor old teachers, they work their butts off. Once again, teacher in the clinic last night, and, you know, she's just at the end of fourth term.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, you get to the end of the year and the education department says, okay, people, we've got half a day for you to put together your curriculum for next year.
Yeah.
They're like, are you kidding me?
You want
My
to-
brain's knackered. I need to have my 6 weeks off. Give me a break.
Oh, I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I
I'm not a
couldn't do it.
teacher, so I might not be...
I'm
Yeah.
an XRN, and I even found it hard just doing the early and the nights and
Yeah.
the stress that came with it. So you
Yeah.
can imagine what these teachers go through.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. But you were talking about your adrenal glands.
Yes.
So this is probably why you pee a lot when you do stress.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes, which is funny because I do kinesiology YouTube videos, and my mum was on the table once as my guinea pig, and I said, do you pee when you're stressed? And Mum said, I pee when I bloody need to pee. And that was one of the comments that people who tune into my YouTube videos, they thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
But people aren't aware of it, but absolutely, I'm a stress peer.
Well, yeah, look,
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm getting a bit personal, a bit of TMI right now. But a lot of people do get symptoms and they don't really know what it's for. They think, you know, as like I said, as an XRN myself, I'd have patients come to me going, oh, I just can't stop peeing. Do I
Yes.
have diabetes? But it's because of the stress
Yeah.
levels. They have so much stress going on in their lives.
Exactly. And when you and the cortisol is just linked in with, once again, high cortisol levels. If that's in your workups by the doctor, you've got to be looking at something to get that under control. They know that high cortisol is linked in, once again, with many health diseases. So, and also no cortisol is just as bad. So if people are waking up in the morning and they're exhausted, sometimes their whole cortisol bell curve is out of whack. You know, so you need to wake up with a decent amount of cortisol to get you into your day. So there's nothing wrong with cortisol, and cortisol's meant to get us up and running, and a lot of people use that first 3 coffees of the day. to get themselves up and running, but there's obviously something going on.
Yeah.
So the stress, getting your sleep patterns really well worked out. And once again, I know that the best time would be to, sleep from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m., but everyone has to do whatever works for them. It's getting those blue lights out of your bedroom.
Yeah.
They are now looking
at... Putting the phone in the lounge room,
absolutely.
not next to the bed. Yeah.
Because then, of course... people complain that, I got a phone call the other night, and I go, why was the phone in your bedroom? Get the phone out of your room.
Oh, but someone could have needed me. Could have been an emergency. Well,
yes.
They can ring the house phone, if you still have a house phone.
Yes.
These days, they don't really exist anymore. But anyway, the stress,
So getting sleep patterns under control,
yeah.
Finding out your cortisol level, see if it's something your GP can do if you sort of suspect it. It is a specific test, so doctors have to either know how to do it and then want to do it in order to help you, and if not, naturopaths can order it. It's an easy to order test.
Yeah.
But it's sort of, at least if you have a baseline, you know what you're working with. And sometimes it can be the sort of thing that herbs can start to help. So things like Korean ginseng, which people will have heard of. Korean ginseng is one of those herbs that stimulates the pituitary function. So the pituitary is like a master hormone gland of a whole bunch of stuff in the body. It works with the pineal, it works with the hypothalamus, but basically your
So this is one of the glands in the brain
yes.
that are responsible for all this. That's what we're
yeah.
changing to, the pituitary gland.
So the adrenal glands themselves make 62 hormones, but that is in a feedback loop from the brain. So basically your adrenals will take a message from your brain saying, hey dude, you're stressed, whip out some hormones. So, but we need to sort of calm down this feed loop or have ways of calming it down. And then it's stuff like yoga, it's stuff like Pilates, it's stuff like getting regular massage, it's walking on the beach, it's going for a swim. For people with high cortisol, they've got to exercise. You've got to exercise to calm that cortisol down.
That's right, because a lot of doctors would say that, especially if you are newly diagnosed with anxiety or high levels of stress or depression, they will actually tell you to go and walk, because you do produce a lot of endorphins and whatnot when you're doing your walking. So,
yes.
You get that it's a natural body relieving to reduce the stress.
Yes, and it's both sides of it. It's calming the stress and picking up your good hormones.
That's
absolutely.
Right. Absolutely. And exercise is always good.
Yes.
I mean, I walk around, I got like a little rectangle area out near my house on Russell Island, and I walk it occasionally, not as often as I probably should. My stress levels probably be a lot better. But, I walk around it, and you do, when you first start walking, you feel absolute this is such an effort, it's so hot, what, but then when you finish, you do feel hyper, you do feel energetic, and that's because of those endorphins that naturally help bring those stress levels down and those good hormones.
Absolutely. Part of the holiday we just had was the Inca Trail. We did the Inca Trail for Machu Picchu, which I've got to say, phenomenal, amazing.
Absolutely gorgeous.
45 kilometres in 3.5 days.
Oh my goodness.
It was 30 kilometres by the end of the second day.
So how's your stress levels?
Well, actually, no, it was a great holiday.
Yeah.
I can say that. Excuse me, but it was amazing. But when with that altitude, they talk about altitude sickness. We didn't really have that, but my legs did weigh like a ton. There's on the second day you do 6 hours of climbing, and it's and these are Inca rock trails that were built 500 years ago. So it's funny.
They're not easy paths to walk. They're quite sort of uneven. And
they're very uneven.
Yeah.
So, that's why you use the walking sticks and, you just go with it.
Did you bring the goats? Did you have goats following you?
Oh, llamas. We had llamas and alpacas. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, I had a vision when you were sitting here with your walking stick, I had a vision of with you walking up like Heidi did in, is it Switzerland?
Oh, yeah.
With all the goats,
Nice. But it was sort of funny because my legs felt like a ton of bricks, and it was as you're going through it, you're sort of thinking, I don't know if I can make it to the end of the day, but gee, it felt good when you got to lunch and you got to afternoon tea, and man, it was worth every second of it.
Wow.
But anyway, so exercise is good for you.
All right, well, we're going to go to a quick break. We're going to go and listen to Borderline by Madonna. Then we're going to come back and talk more about this Machu Picchu and stress levels.
Stress.
If your stress levels are really, really bad, maybe a trip to Machu Picchu after Christmas might help.
Would be lovely.
You drag us along. I'll come.
Okay.
I'll be your guide. This is Bay FM 100.3. It is 29 minutes to 12.